Good evening. Welcome to Midpoint. Tonight, I'd like to talk about something that is kind of controversial, but hey, that's what we do sometimes. And in order to be in the right, in order to say what's right, many times it is controversial. And today, in our society, it would seem like that the majority is trying to say that right is wrong and wrong is right. First off, let me point out that it is not the majority that is trying to make us believe that. It is the minority. It is just a few in the scope of millions of people. It is just a few that are trying to bring into our society things that are wrong, that have been wrong from the beginning, that God said was wrong in His Word. They're trying to make us believe it is right. Let me name a few things. Homosexuality, not a popular thing to be against today. Abortion, another not popular thing for us to be against today. Transgender. Now they're trying to make us believe that if a child wants to be a boy that was born a girl, can go and have her body changed to be a boy. Now, God never intended for this to begin with. And let me tell you something, God does not make mistakes. If you were born a girl, then that's what He intended for you to be. If you were born a boy, that's what He intended for you to be, because He doesn't make mistakes. And He loves every one of us enough to make us what He wanted us to be and where we would best benefit the world. So, as all of this stuff is taking place, I mean, even in the schools, I noticed in the stores, a couple of them that I've been in have a bathroom that anybody can go in. It's not specified male or female. When did all of this stuff become popular and right? It might be popular, but it's not right. And I, for one, will stand against that, because God does not He does not say right is wrong and wrong is right, and neither should we. Back in the Old Testament, in 1 Kings, in the 19th chapter, and the 18th verse, if you think you're alone, well, so didn't Elijah when he thought he was alone in the battle. Yet, this is what God said to him. I love this. Yet, he's saying to Elijah, I have left me 7,000 in Israel. That's just in Israel. All the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him. Now that was just in Israel in Elijah's time. Today, I believe there are millions that have not bowed their knee to Satan, that do not call wrong right and right wrong, that are still believing the scriptures as God set them in the beginning, as He made male and female in the beginning. He is against abortion. He is against all of this stuff that the world is trying to tell us that the majority thinks is all right. It's a very small minority that thinks it's right. And I want to encourage you today to stand up when somebody says something that you know is against Scripture. And a lot of things are going on today that are supposed to be the in thing. Well, it isn't with God. God has set us apart. What did He say? We're a peculiar people. And we serve a God that is very, what can I say, very stern and very right on what he says is in the Bible is right and what is wrong. So let us stand up today whenever we meet that kind of a situation. Let's be bold enough. God has given us a backbone for a reason. Let's be bold enough to say, no, that isn't right. That isn't what God intended at the beginning. It wasn't right then, it isn't right now, and it's never going to be right. If it's wrong, let us say it's wrong. What's wrong with that? I mean, if we don't preach against sin, if we don't preach against what is wrong, if we don't come against it, then who is going to? God put it in us. He gave us the ability to know right from wrong. I have a great-grandson that lives with me. He's 3 years old. Look, he knows when he's doing wrong. He knows. Sometimes I don't even have to tell him, but he knows he's wrong. That is the fallen man. That's what Adam and Eve did when they sinned in the garden, when they disobeyed God. They put that, whatever you want to call it, curse on us, that everyone is born in sin and shapen in iniquity. So we don't have to learn how to be wrong. We have to learn, and we have to teach our children how to be right, how to do what's right. And what we need to realize too is that wrong brings consequences. There's always a reaction to our actions. And if our actions are not right, then we get a negative reaction to that. So as believers, I want to encourage you tonight to stand up and stand against what is wrong and stand for what is right. It doesn't matter whether you think it's popular, whether I think it's popular or not. We have to stand within the scriptures, and we have to live within the guidelines that God has given us. I am thankful tonight that God gave me Christian parents. He gave me a great church that I grew up in, great youth leaders, great Sunday school teacher, great pastor. I am so thankful for my Christian heritage tonight because that has kept me. It has kept my feet grounded. It has kept my beliefs the same. And they stay within the guidelines of the Bible. I'm thankful for that. And I would encourage you, if you have children, whether they're grown or not, if you have grandchildren, whether they're grown or not, great-grandchildren, you need to teach them. What did the Bible tell Joshua? He said, you teach them by the way. You teach them when you're walking. You teach them when you're talking. You teach them when you're sitting. You teach them when you're rising up, the ways of God. And that's what we need to do today. If we have the opportunity, I see things in nature all the time. I tell my great-grandson Jackson, God made that. We were talking about the rainbow the other day, and I said, God made the rainbow. It's for a sign that he will never flood the world again. Now the world is trying to make the rainbow an evil thing. It isn't. It's a promise of God. And our children need to know that. When they see that rainbow in the sky, when they see those colors, that means that God made us a promise. And he's still keeping that promise today, and he will until time is no more. That's what we need to understand and teach our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our friends, whoever we're talking to. Let's not put it in a box and say just these people. Anybody, your neighbors, your friends, your co-workers, the people that you see in the store, the people that you meet on the street. If the subject comes up, let's take the opportunity. I believe God makes opportunities all the time for us to tell people the truth. And we need to be conscious. We need to be in tune with the Spirit all the time so that we recognize those times that God is saying, okay, here's your opportunity. Take it and tell them about me. Tell them of the truth. Tell them the good things of God. Let's do that. Let's make it a point to be in tune with the Spirit so we can do that. Thank you for letting me share with you tonight. God bless you. You have a blessed week.